Student Trustee Sewer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to staff, throughout last year and following the announcement of the modified semester's 150-minute learning blocks, students and parents alike have expressed that these extended periods are overwhelming and difficult to maintain focus and productivity in. So my question is if there are any steps in the works or ones that could be taken to address the concern about the lack of breaks during each learning block.
Superintendent DeBoer.
Through the chair to the student trustee, that's a great question. And I think we all would agree that the quadmestering schedule last year was challenging, having one course for the entire day. This is a little bit better. It's 150 minutes in the morning in a particular course before there's a break. In my conversations with staff, there are a number of strategies that teachers will use to provide breaks for students, and that might be, quiet time, working on your things, group work, different types of things happening in the classroom. I will remind folks as well that, previous to the pandemic, we did have a 150-minute learning block in the morning. There were two different classes during that 150 minutes, and it would be separated by a 5-minute break where students would go to their lockers to get their books and materials for their second class, 75-minute class. And so the difference in a modified semester is that students will continue to have 150 minutes of learning in the morning. It'll be in one particular class. So teachers will use a variety of methods to read their students, try to meet their students where they are, and allow them time to refresh a little bit within that time to be able to learn through that learning block as well. So to answer your question, yes, there's thought that's going into that, and it'll look different in a tech class, and a math class, and a family studies class. It'll look different in different classes in terms of what's happening in the classroom.
Student Trustee Sewer, sorry.
It's all right. Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to staff, I'd like to ask a question about secondary students' staggered return for in-person learning, because grades 11 and 12 are not attending on September 7th, and grades 9 and 10 are not attending on September 8th. So students are wondering if these days are off school for them or if they will be attending online.
Superintendent DeBoer.
Through the chair to the student trustee, it's a great question. Students will not be required to learn online during that time, like traditionally we have in the past year. As we set up our secondary schools, there are still, and you probably have experienced this, student conflicts in timetables. The extra day on the Tuesday will allow senior students in grade 11 and 12 to work with guidance counselors in really settling their timetable, as well as we come right up against sort of crunch time and students choosing their courses, and many elective courses for grade 11s and 12s. So that day will give them time to find that out, and also to start some thinking around, continued thinking around preparing for school start. Same goes with grades 9 and 10. They'll be learning a lot of information on that first day. We're processing that information. They will probably need to get some materials based on the classes they have, because they will in all likelihood find out that day what their courses are as well in many schools. So that'll give them that day to do that as well.
Given the prevalence of the Delta variant and recent research proving that the COVID virus is aerosolized, that the WRDSB board chairperson sent a letter to the Minister of Education on behalf of trustees, strongly urging the ministry to provide an enhanced level of masks similar to KN95 or N95 masks for staff and students.
Student Trustee Sorer.
In favor.
That the Waterloo Regional District School Board write a letter to the Ministry of Education and include the Ontario Chief Medical Officer of Health and Waterloo Region Medical Officer of Health, requesting that the COVID vaccine be immediately added to the list of immunizations, which are mandatory for, and this was where we were going to add
Eligible.
Eligible, thank you, for eligible primary and secondary school attendance, allowing for exemptions from medical and religious reasons according to the Ontario Human Rights Code.
Student trustee Sorer,
In favor?
The motion to postpone. Opposed?
That the WRDSB send a letter of support for the Halton District School Board's letter to Premier Ford and to Minister Lesche regarding the Indigenous history curriculum materials.
All in favor?